Hi, I'm Andy, aka googleman, and today we're looking at 5 tips to do with Google Sheets, not all of which involve data.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's googleman.
Okay, like I said, I'm going to show you 5 tips to do with Google Sheets that are so quick, I'm going to do them in real time as we go through. So here we go with tip number 1. So this on my screen here, you can see I've got a new tab open and I want to create a brand new spreadsheet. And I don't want to have to go through Google Drive or Google Sheets as the main site. So all I need to do in my URL bar in here is type in sheet.new and then hit enter. What that will do is it'll create for me a brand new spreadsheet ready to use, saved to my Google Drive, which I can then move around later on as I see fit. If you want to know how to move things around easily in Google Drive, please check out that video linked above and below. And that is number 1 done. Straight in then to number 2, we're going to be looking at importing data from different spreadsheets. So I'm going to come over to this one here called Master Overview. Now this is where, if you're a head of department like me, you want to draw in data from several Google Sheets that have been created by different teachers into one place for you to be able to monitor really easily. As you can see, I've got a tab class 1 which already has data in it, and that data has been pulled directly from this class 1 spreadsheet. I didn't copy and paste it over, I did this instead. Watch very carefully. So I've got class 2 here, okay, and I want to take all of this data and import it into another spreadsheet, so when data is changed here I can see the changes happening. I'm just going to remember B2 and F6 because that is the range that I'm going to be trying to take from this spreadsheet. Obviously you would choose the ones most relevant to you, and I'm going to come up here and copy that URL. I'm going to go back to my master overview sheet and I have a tab already created for class 2. I'm going to choose a cell, this one here will do fine, and I'm going to go equals to start the function formula and import range. Okay, and then open my bracket. I'm going to be putting text into here, so it's really important that I do open a double quotation speech mark, because otherwise it won't recognize it because it's looking for numerical data. I'm then going to just paste in that URL from my other spreadsheet and close the quotation marks. Comma for a new variable. I'm going to open up a new set. I'm going to tell it where in my other spreadsheet to look. I want it to look on the tab called sheet 1, and I want it to look from B2 to F6 because that's where the data is. So I'm going to type in sheet 1 with an exclamation mark afterwards. That tells it what tab to look for, and then B2 to F6. That is the range on that spreadsheet where it wants to look, and then I need to close the quotation marks and close the bracket and then hit enter. It won't let me do it straight away. If you look, it'll give me a reference error. That is because I haven't given it permission to look at that sheet yet. I need to allow access. I click on that, it has a little bit of a think, and there is the data from that sheet. I could then create a new tab and move that data around, reference that within my own sheet, and any changes made on the original spreadsheet are reflected in my one because I've just imported the data using the URL. And that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 to do with Google Sheets is to do with data. Okay, it had to happen at some point again, and we're going to be looking at how we can see a very simple, small version of a chart to help us see any trends in the data we're looking at. Now, this is probably more handy if you are slightly higher up in a school or in any other business that uses numbers, and it's a function called SPARKLINE. The simplest version of this, on my screen here, you can see I've got some really basic data. In a blank cell here, I'm going to type in equals for a new function. I'm going to type in SPARKLINE. Open my brackets, and I'm going to select the data here that I specifically want to use. Now, as standard, it will give me a simple line graph to demonstrate this. I close my bracket once I've selected my data, and as you can see, it's giving me a line. Now, I can see where it rises and where it falls. If you are someone that prefers perhaps a column chart to do with this, you can do that, okay, with a little bit of extra work. All you need to do is in the cell next to that, I'm going to do the same thing. It's the same function. I'm still going to use SPARKLINE. I'm still going to select the same data range, but this time I need to add in another variable, and I'm going to ask it for something. I need to open a squiggly bracket, which is the brackets that are just next to the enter key on most keyboards, and it's a squiggly one, so I have to go shift open bracket, and then I'm going to open my quotation marks. Remember, I'm giving text now, and I'm going to ask it for a chart type. Yeah, oh, I did do it right. I can spell words, everything's fine. I'm then going to close that quotation. I've still left the squiggly bracket open, comma for a new variable. I'm going to ask it in words again for a column chart. Open the quotations and type in column. Close the quotations, close the squiggly bracket, close the main bracket, hit enter, and there is my bar chart that I can see, or my column chart showing me all of the data, and I can then question that in a meeting as to what's happening at different points. This is really handy if you have got lots and lots of data that you want a very quick, simple view of. There we go, that's number 3. Number 4 is becoming one of my favorites here, and it's the ability to create a QR code from a website address using Google Sheets. There are various QR code generators out there, but let's do this natively in here. On my screen, you can see I have a QR code created here for the googleman website. Please do check out that website. It is linked in the description for you. And all I've done here is created an image from the URL. You can see the formula just here on the screen. Don't write it down. I'll link that below as well. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select and copy that formula. Out here I've got my school's website on here. Okay, I'm going to create a QR code for that. In that cell I'm just going to go into it and paste the formula in. I do need to make a change, however, because right now it's still looking at D2. I don't want it to look at D2, I need it to look at D3, and that is absolutely fine. So I just need to go in and change the 2 to a 3. Can I do this even more easily? Yes, I can, and I'll show you how in just a moment. So I hit enter, and there's my QR code. I've got another URL here. It's for my YouTube channel, so if you're watching this and can't get to the channel, click on that one. If I click up here, I can go down to the bottom right and click and drag that formula down. It now will complete that code, and there it is, a QR code, but that is specific for that URL. I can then take any of these. I could put them into a document and print it out and put it on the wall. I could put it in an email. I could put it anywhere I want to, and that is scannable to anyone with a compatible device, and that's number 4. And then finally, number 5. So do you remember that new spreadsheet I made earlier on? I want to create a to-do list with it. Now, it might be that you usually use Google Keep for this kind of thing and share your checklists and to-do lists through there. Check out that video linked above and below to find out how. But I want to do something with this spreadsheet, so there are tasks to do within it related to the spreadsheet in particular. Okay, and I can do that very, very easily. Here I'm just going to select a few cells, and that number of cells relates to the number of things going onto that tick list. Of course I can add more later, but let's just do this for now. So I've selected these cells. I'm going to go to insert and tick box. This literally then adds tick boxes which I can then check off just within each cell. So next to those you would put the items that you want done on your nice easy checklist, and once something is done I can check it off. And a bonus tip for you: if you are sharing this with people and they all have access to this, you might want to set particular tasks within that checklist to particular people, and it's a really, really easy process. So I want to assign item 2 to real world me. Okay, I've selected that cell and I'm going Control Alt and M. This is how you add a comment to something as a keyboard shortcut. I have talked about keyboard shortcuts before, and I'll link the video with where I talk about that above and below as well. All I want to do here is just add someone to that. I could give more information if necessary, but in this case I'm just going to add the person. I'm going to put a plus symbol, and then I'm going to find the real world me, and I'm just typing in the name or the email address of that person. From there I click assign to me. What that will then do is, as soon as I click assign, I will get an email in my real world me inbox telling me that this comment has been assigned to me, and of course in this case it's assigned to a task on a checklist. That means that real world me, or whoever you have sent this to, is responsible for marking that comment as done and marking it as complete, and also checking off the tick box item as well. Really quick, really easy, and there it is. That's number 5. So there it is, my 5 tips for using Google Sheets. Like I said, not all of them use data. You can do some very, very clever things with Google Sheets. I hope you can take some of these things away and put them into practice really, really quickly. All the relevant links and formulas will be down in the description below, so don't forget to check those out. Also, don't forget to click on subscribe and check out the aka Googleman website as well. I'll see you all next time, so until then, stay well, stay safe, Googleman out.